Well, we're excited to have back on the show from from Senate Judiciary, forgive me about that, and Senate Commerce Ranking Member, Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, so we're hearing you don't like the Senate border deal at all to get aid for Ukraine and Israel in the Indo-Pacific. Why don't you like it?
Well, Liz, great to be with you. Thank you for having me. When I say I don't like it, let me point out I haven't seen the text of the bill and nobody else has. They're keeping it secret, but what they're describing on the face of it is not going to solve the problem. We are facing an absolute crisis at our southern border. We're facing the worst illegal immigration in our nation's history. 9.6 million people have crossed illegally into the United States under Joe Biden. And from everything that's been described of this deal, it won't fix the problem. And even worse, from what I understand it, this deal effectively normalizes 5,000 illegal aliens a day. That works out to over 1.8 million illegal aliens a year, or about 6 million under the 3 years of Joe Biden. That is absolutely unacceptable. It is a humanitarian disaster. It is enriching Mexican drug cartels by tens of billions of dollars. It is resulting in children being viciously assaulted. And I'll tell you also, Liz, it is an enormous national security threat to the United States.
So
I believe today the risk of a terrorist threat today is greater than it's been any time since September 11th. I
mean, that's what the FBI director testified to. How can Senate Democrats in this Biden White House bully the American people over a bad Senate border deal that enshrines, keeps in place the status quo? Because the White House keeps misleading, blaming Congress, saying it must act, Senator, when Biden opened up the border on his own with like 100 executive actions just in his first 100 days. So how is it that they can bully the American people and allow 42,000 criminal illegal aliens to come into the country, nearly 1,300 terrorists at all ports of entry and in between? How can the Senate Democrats and the White House get away with this?
Look, that's exactly right. And the reason they're doing it, this is the outcome they want. Understand, when Joe Biden came into the White House, he inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. He inherited incredible success. Under President Trump, we had great success securing the border. And Joe Biden deliberately, systematically broke the border and opened it up. There were 3 decisions that were made in the very first week of Biden's presidency that caused this crisis. In the first week, he immediately halted construction of the border wall. He reinstated the disastrous policy of catch and release. And he pulled out of the unbelievably successful Remain in Mexico international agreement. And instantaneously, within hours, we went from the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years to the worst rate of illegal immigration in our nation's history. Because the reason is the cartels now know, and the illegal immigrants now know, that if you come, the Biden administration will let you go. I spend a lot of time on the southern border. I go out on midnight patrol with the Border Patrol agents. The illegal aliens look for Border Patrol agents. They affirmatively turn themselves in. And the reason is the agents ask them, where do you want to go? And they respond, I want to be in New York. I want to be in Boston. I want to be in Chicago. I want to be in Dallas. And what happens? Joe Biden and his administration puts them on planes, puts them on buses, sends them to every city in America. And without exaggeration, Joe Biden is the largest human trafficker on the face of the planet because he is the final mile of the human trafficking network.
You know, the CBO put out a new report. Under the Biden White House, 7.2 million illegal immigrants into the U.S. in just 3 years. It's to what you're saying, it was an average of 900,000 a year from 2010 to 2019. Now the CBO is saying it's going to explode to 3.3 million this year. So what do you know that's in the deal besides them enshrining 5,000 illegal immigrants coming into the country a day? Are they going to do more vetting? Are they going to have more people checking who's coming into the country? I mean, listen, we want legal immigration. You see in a college poll, Senator, Trump leads Biden 42 to 39% among Hispanic voters. So what else is in the deal?
Look, nobody knows, and there's a reason.
But what are they talking about? But what are they talking about?
There's a reason Chuck Schumer is keeping this secret, because if the American people knew, they would not be happy with it. The problem is Senate Republican leadership went in and said, all right, we got to make a deal with Schumer, so let's do what Schumer wants. Look, I'll tell you what House Republicans did. I agree with House Republicans. They passed a bill called H.R. 2. It is a comprehensive border security bill. They passed it. I've introduced the same bill, H.R. 2, in the Senate. I think that's what we ought to do. Now, Chuck Schumer said at the outset, H.R. 2 is dead on arrival. He's not willing to consider it. Why? Because it actually would work. And he doesn't want to stop illegal immigration. He wants the 9.6 million illegal immigrants we've seen to become 20 million and 30 million and 40 million. And I think that's an absolute disaster for Texas and for the country.
We've got the TSA letting illegal immigrants on with no ID. This is just a generation after 9/11 when 19 hijackers, killed people in New York City and elsewhere.
Listen, that is exactly right. As you know, last month I sent a letter to Alejandro Mayorkas demanding to know why the TSA is letting illegal immigrants go on planes without a driver's license, without a passport. They come in and they tell the Biden administration a name. We have no idea to know if that name is real or made up. Many cases they can't figure out who the person is, and yet the Biden administration is issuing them an alien ID card that the TSA lets them get on a plane. You and I couldn't get on a plane with that, with no biometrics. We know last year that 172 people on the terror watch list tried to cross illegally. We know a lot more than that did, but those are the ones that were apprehended. And I believe the Biden administration is deliberately creating a scenario where we have an enormous risk that the next terrorist, like September 11th, will get on a plane using essentially a fake ID issued by the Biden administration. If you or I have to show a secure photo ID, if we need biometrics, well, you know what? Illegal aliens should too, but the Biden White House is not requiring that.